energy is infectious. And during this time when all this stuff that's going on and the craziness in the world, you need to gather around a mastermind with people who are excited about what's coming, excited about what's happening, about the potential and the reason to move. And, I'm excited that, Josh Schoenly this morning was like, yeah, I'll join you on the mastermind, because he brings this level of excitement and energy that we all need to be around right now. So I think it's important that you come here, we make the time to do this and talk about, what's working, and maybe think about things from a different perspective. Like, one thing I love that I've been watching Josh do is get excited. Listen to this, people. Get excited about buyer leads. It's like, what? Get excited about buyer leads? But he talks about the importance of like building different pillars and thinking about doing things differently. And there's a buyer lead campaign in there too. So it's one thing that we thought we'd talk about this morning, because we've had some people saying like, what about the buyer lead campaigns? Can we talk about that? Put some information around that. So we're going to kind of touch on that. We'll open it up for questions as always, and just kind of go back and forth and mastermind. This is what you got to do. Get together with people who are thinking and doing things and moving outside the box, and take some ideas and some notes, and then get to work implementing them. So Josh, we're excited to have you here this morning.
Excited to be here. I appreciate you opening it up, and I'm excited to share. I love sharing with our community. And when I say our community, real estate agents, specifically in this case, the StreetText community as well. So it should be fun. It should be fun. I always enjoy these. And the more people we have, the more energy I get. So I may explode.
Yeah, fun. We're not allowed to have fun and do business at the same time. Is this true?
Yeah. Oh, listen, you better be, right?
No, exactly.
You better be.
So kind of give us, go ahead.
Yeah. So I had like 3 or 4 different things that I figured kind of as, topic points that I wanted to share. But certainly, as you said, Q&A, whether in the chat or you guys interrupt me, like I'm an open book on anything I do. I'm not secretive about anything. And since you started with the buyer stuff, I'll share. I thought I'd share 2 campaigns. One, a listing campaign, and then one a buyer. I call it buyer leads on demand, whatever you want to call it. And what I'm doing with those and why. And how I think there's value, and then also tying that together. I think Wendy has been talking about how she's playing sort of matchmaker. That's definitely something that I think that's a value that we need to be bringing to our marketplace. If we want to be highly paid, we need to bring value, and that's a way that we can do that. And I got kind of like a pretty cool little strategy. I'll show everybody how you can do that on another level potentially as well. Hopefully we have time for all of that. So I'll share my screen. First one I want to show. I figure I'll show is just the typical property listing ad. And one of the reasons I love this ad, so I'm with eXp. We get KV Core. One of the services that is an add-on with that is something called Property Boost, which is a really quick and easy way for you to promote a listing using a Facebook lead ad. Does that sound familiar? And it's great. It's great, but I don't want to be blasphemous against KV Core and Property Boost. But the cost per lead doing the exact same thing with StreetText, in my experience, is drastically lower, A. B, when I make a campaign like that with StreetText, it's showing my Facebook page, which does not happen with Property Boost. And number 3, I've done Property Boosts for the last year or so, and I've built a database and have some conversations. The lead, for whatever reason, the leads coming through these property listings, like they actually want to look at the house, at least some of them. And so for all of those reasons, I am loving these and would highly recommend you do these for every one of your listings, because a certain percentage of them is going to be nosy neighbors, which means, you're building your database of people that might one day sell their house with you. So this is one. So this property is about double the average home price in my market. Okay, so I share that with context. It's about double, and yet I'm paying $1.28 a lead. $1.28 a lead. I think I have two campaigns going, $1.54 in that. I did a split test. I did a 3-ad split test. I turned one off. The other 2 were so good, I left them on. I'll have to turn these off probably in a day, because it will be under contract by tomorrow. But it's just a typical typical property listing ad. Of course, it's going to take a while to load because Zoom bogs down Facebook.
And Josh, you know, a cool thing on that, a lot of people miss out on those property listing ads, is you can go and use Canva to do like 3 images on one,
Yep.
right? You want to do like a little bit of the front house, maybe an interior shot and a backyard landscaping. If you wanted to make that feature pop out.
Yeah, totally. And I think I have done that on some of the other listings that I've used this feature with. But in this case, I didn't. I don't know why. I just, sometimes I do one thing, sometimes I do another. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, this is super simple, but I love it because I'm being branded here and it's working like crazy. And I'm getting, I'm getting real, real people in my market that actually want to look at the house. So that would be the first thing I wanted to share. Nothing like wildly unique or anything with it, but if you have listings, I would still create these, even though it's incredibly easy to sell a listing right now, because why not use every listing to create more transaction opportunities, right? Try to maximize every listing to create more opportunities from that. And I would say just from, I launched this Friday or Thursday, so less than a week, and I have at least 3 very legitimate client opportunities from that lead flow, where we've had tangible conversation. They are pre-approved. Now we just got to get them a home, which will show, I'll show some unique things along the lines of what Wendy was sharing as well, that we're doing to try and get them into a home. This is, yeah, go ahead.
Is this an ad, or were you just, because usually when there are ads, it says sponsored, and I didn't see that on that ad. It just says published.
This is an ad. This is just what the preview looks like. Okay. When I clicked on the view my ad in StreetText. In the person's news feed, it will say sponsored. It'll say sponsored like somewhere here.
Hey Josh, go ahead and click on that just for fun, so people know what,
Yeah, to learn more.
Yeah, yep. Just so they know what happens.
I forgot one thing here. The other reason why I love this versus Property Boost is people telling me how soon they're looking to move.
Yeah.
Like, the cost per lead is drastically lower and I'm getting better data.
Josh, is this your listing?
Yes. Yep. But like, if you don't have any listings, ask permission to use someone else's.
Absolutely.
Someone in my brokerage asked, can I use your listing to promote it? And my guess is I didn't do a good job here. So I should have sent my StreetText affiliate link and had them do it there. She probably ran a Property Boost because I gave her their permission to do that. I didn't even think of it until just now when we were talking about it. But yes, this is my listing. But look at that. So you click on it. They choose how soon they're thinking about moving, email, full name, phone number. This would normally be pre-populated, but I think because it's my account or whatever, like, it's not in there. But if a normal user seeing the ad, it would be pre-populated, but they do have to choose this, right, Marcus? Like, if they don't choose anything here, it won't submit.
Right. Yeah. And it's great because these give you everything you're looking for right off the bat, right? The lead ad gives you the name, the phone number, the email, and this information. And then what you'll kind of learn too is that you can create your own automation on the back end. That's a personal touch with a video introducing yourself and kind of telling them a little bit more about the property and how they connect with you.
So what I'm doing, for those who are curious, is I'm using Zapier, sending them into my KV Core. And we have an email, a text message, and a ringless voicemail that goes out automatically. They're also getting StreetText follow-up. because you never know what they're actually going to get in their inbox, what will actually show up on their phone. I'd rather them get too much. I forget who this was. I know he's on here, and it might be, oh, I don't see his name, said that oftentimes we don't follow up enough or don't set enough sort of communications or follow up hard enough because we think we're going to cross the line, when in reality, we don't even know where the line is. And I heard somebody say that, I'm pretty sure it was on one of these masterminds recently. And that really clicked with me of, until somebody tells you you've crossed the line, you don't know where the line is. So my approach is I'm going to go all in and make sure that I'm not dropping the ball on what they want, which in this case is more information about this property. So yeah, I send them, by land, by air, by sea. They're getting information about the property.
Josh, hey buddy, do you mind if I chime in on something real quick?
Fire away.
Okay, so I do all the KV, I do all that KV Core stuff that I do. Well, I've found a way that we do not have to use Zapier to get KV Core in. It's the email parser. Me and Marcus have been working on this together, and we figured it out last week, Marcus, one day last week. You actually just grab the email parser link from in your lead engine where it in the lead engine there where it says lead routing, right, in KV Core. You just grab that email link and you pop it over into StreetText, and it'll send your leads right over, start them right up on their campaigns, all that stuff.
Yeah, so my experience with that, because I tested that several weeks ago, I've actually tested it 2 different times, is that the data is not coming in consistently with the appended information specific to the campaign that they should be on. So we've tested it 2 different times. They all get into KV Core, but they don't all come in the way that I would like to see it, so that I know for sure that they came from this campaign, or that they came from this campaign, or that they're a seller lead versus a buyer lead. That's just my experience. That's why I've gone back to Zapier, because I have more control over those specific fields.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure about that, because I got mine all coming in. They're all seller leads, and they're all going on my seller custom campaign, like the ones I set up for you, right? They're all going on that. So I don't know.
Well, I'm curious if and when you create buyer campaigns, if that throws because that's what having multiple different campaigns is where it started to go a little haywire.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Then that makes total sense. Yeah, because I'm just running the one ad, the one seller campaign. Right. And I've had like I said, 180 something of them come in, and I haven't had any issues with that, but I also have not tried the buyer campaign. So you're right there. Maybe that's where the breakdown is.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, man. Didn't mean to chime in. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No. I'd prefer a free solution. We tested it twice. I tested it initially, and then we actually tested it again because I was like, maybe it was just something weird. And in each of those cases, it didn't work as well. I'd rather pay a few bucks to Zapier, and I can know, that the person coming in is getting the right smart campaign follow up.
The one thing you can do is actually in the automation in StreetText, make sure that you add a tag on and make sure it has a buyer tag, and then it'll separate between sellers and buyers.
We did that too. And for whatever reason, it's still, and I'm not saying it's StreetText. It very well most likely is KV Core, because I love KV Core, but it definitely has bugs. It's not perfect. None of them are, right? It's technology. It's like,
especially since they've started working on the new one, new KV Core. I've noticed a lot of bugs in that. I'm having a conversation with Ryan tomorrow, and we're going to talk about this stuff. So,
yeah. Cool. Okay. So that is, listing specific campaigns, nothing like revolutionary there. Ira wanted me to share this buyer lead on demand campaign, which honestly was not my idea. The idea for this campaign, I've run these kind of campaigns for years and years and years and years and years, not with StreetText, but creating them on my own. And so I've run these types of campaigns, but I hadn't been running them because, let's face it, buyers, it's hard to get them under contract, right? My lender actually reached out to me one of the lenders that I work with and said, hey, if I give you some money, can we create a campaign around this concept? So I said, sure, let's do it. Especially because I need to keep my buyer's agents fed as well. So I launched this campaign last week, I think. What's today? April something. Yeah, sometime last week, I launched this campaign. Very simple. I'm in a more rural area. And so USDA financing is, which is a geographic qualification and price range qualification program, and is a 100% program. It fits the radius that I was able to do for this campaign. So I'm saying just see all available 0 down homes in Perry County, which is just a county in my area. And in the first 24 hours or the first 48 hours, I don't remember, we had two buyers pre-approved and 2 more that had scheduled calls on my lender's Calendly to chat about pre-approval. And those leads are coming in at, I did a 3 ad test with that one as well. Apparently I still have 2 on. I couldn't remember if I had 2 or 3 still live, but they're coming in at under $2 a lead. And Marcus should give his disclaimer. Like, I also am in a more rural market. Like, if you're in a densely populated market, a higher average home price market, it's probably not going to be that cheap. But that's been my experience with those kind of campaigns. Any questions about, so the ad type that this is, so the first one that I mentioned is just the property listing V1 ad. This one right here, property listing V1 lead ad. And then the second one is just the buyer campaign lead ad.
Yeah, and Josh, the cool thing about that, you can see now that all these templates are ranked by the lowest cost per lead. So it's great that you're just using the lowest cost per lead template. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see even with the seller side, that first, what's your home really worth, is still to this day the lowest cost per lead, followed by the emoji one if someone were to buy your home. And then lastly, the one I was talking about, the seller equity. Those are the 3 good ones to do A/B tests out of and try different variations of it.
So I've only used this one, the seller's property valuation conversion. I haven't even tried these 2 yet. And full disclosure, I don't even have a seller ad live right now. However, that gets me into the third thing I wanted to share, which is something that Marcus talks about frequently, at least I've heard him talk about it frequently, which is the fact that you can use your StreetText account and StreetText ads to generate free leads. So for the last 2+ weeks, all I've been doing, and by I mean someone on my team has been doing, is sharing into groups. I call it organic onslaught because I like alliterations, and sharing into local groups to generate leads. And I'm getting anywhere from, I'd have to check, but 2 to 5 leads per day for free. And I have this document that I'm happy to share with everyone that shares my process. This video will share my process for how I'm doing those posts. And these are links. These are permalinks that I've gotten from StreetText ads. So every ad you create, there's a permalink. That's what, these ads that I've shown, all of them has a unique Facebook link. Okay. So all I do is I take this link and, the process is outlined here, but the way I do it is I take that link, I post the link to my Facebook business page. And once you do it, you'll get a preview of that'll just show this. It'll just show this part. And then I delete the actual link and I add something like this. If someone wanted to buy your home, blah, 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 blah. Well, I have a whole bunch of variations of text that you can use for the above, the preview here, or above the image. So you can have these different messages accompanying them. The reason I did that is, quite honestly, I was slammed with opportunities and with listings and with business coming from not just StreetText, but other sources as well. And I was also curious on a couple of fronts to see, can I consistently generate leads for free using this? And also, which of these messages, you know, were going to resonate and generate more interest than others? Because then you can also take those and create custom ads, you know, using the platform as well. So for those of you who have, you know, you're really hurting, you have a very limited budget, like my experience is you can literally just consistently generate leads, you know, in perpetuity. Let me send this to everybody. I think I can send it to everyone. I'll send the link. You should all then be able to access that, and generate leads at no cost. And the other thing I found is like the lead quality is as good or better. Like the people that come in through this organic onslaught process that I have you know, coined the phrase here for, like they're pretty good quality. They'll have a conversation with you, you know, and engage with you and give you the opportunity to build relationship and rapport with them.
Hey, Josh.
Any questions? Yeah, please. Let's have some questions around this.
This is Jennifer, also eXper. So I'm so excited that you're here. But woohoo! So yeah, I share my free link and it was doing great. And you know, Facebook algorithms change all the time. So I was curious where you're sharing it. I used to share it in the community groups, Facebook Marketplace, but where are you finding the best success right now to share your free link?
So, one point of distinction, the way I'm doing it is when you've done it, are you sharing it directly? Or I'm sorry, are you making a post directly in the group, or are you sharing it from your business page?
I'm making a post directly, and
okay.
I'm a member of these groups from my business page.
The way I'm doing it is I actually make the post on my page and then share it in. I don't know if that matters, but that's the way I'm doing it. Okay. In part because, I don't know, I could give a long explanation. So I'm blocked from Facebook's marketplace. But for whatever reason, I can share into groups. So if I try to, in most groups, unless I own the group, if I try to make a post in the group, it won't let me, but it will let me share into groups. So that's why I figured out, okay, well then I'll just post on my Facebook page, my business Facebook page, and then I share into the group. So it's not me, I'm not making the post on my personal page and then sharing. It's on my business Facebook page, and then I share into groups. As far as what groups, I just belong to a bunch of local groups, like a ton of them. And I don't know, I probably should figure this out, but I have no idea which ones work better than others. For those that are curious, the way I would recommend finding those groups to join is you just go to Facebook, in the search bar up here, type in like your city or county or area. So I live in Enola, not Ebola, Enola, PA. And if you do a search for a city or town, etc., and then on the left-hand side here, you go to groups, you can then join groups. You can see here that I'm a member of these. This is the neighborhood I live in. I don't know why I'm not a member of that group. And you can see, you know, so like the ones that we typically share into is like any item, like items for sale, or I don't go like specific neighborhood groups. Like this is a specific like subdivision or neighborhood. I don't do that. And I look for ones. So for example, this one has 26,000 members. That's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm a member of this one, and I do share into these. So yard sale groups, garage sale groups, you know, ones that items for sale, that kind of stuff. Those are what I look for. And I look for groups that have, I would say, in the thousands of members, not in the hundreds of members. Now, if you're in a really, really rural area and there aren't any groups that have thousands, then obviously just go with the ones that have the most. And also, I think I mentioned this in the video, like there's a fine line here. You don't want to go sharing into 10 groups every day. Like we share into a couple of groups a couple of times a week, and we vary the group. And I never share into this. Well, we try to never share into the same group more than once a week.
Are you responding to the notifications, Josh, when you're in those? Because I'm in some of the communities and I'll monitor it. And then if they have a question that lets me jump in behind it or give something, I do that.
Honestly, yes, but I probably can do it better. Like I
your home value request from Facebook. I am working.
Yes, but not as thoroughly or diligently as I probably should be. But if I see it in my notifications, I will do my best to make sure that I follow up and you know, private message them or whatever. And you know, interestingly enough, like I've had several where people where I've the text was if someone wanted to buy your home, or one of these sort of variations where it's asking, would you sell it? And people will comment, yes. And I've had conversations with those. One of which I'm still in conversation. One was like, well, I already have I already have a real estate agent and we're listing it, you know, in a week or whatever. So you get some of that. But I definitely think if you're going to do this process, then monitoring and doing the best you can to monitor the comments and engage with those comments, which is just best practice, whether you're doing paid ads or you're doing this, certainly is well worth it. And you'll get lots of people, and I've heard this talked about often, like many people will comment or engage with the post, but they don't actually click the learn more link and fill out their information. But they are still interested in some form or fashion. And if you engage with them, they will reciprocate and engage back.
Josh, this is Adrian. Do you think that you said that you don't go into, you know, specific communities? So for example, you live in Enola in a specific community. Don't you think a group like that could be targeted because you live there with one of your Facebook ads with a listing?
So, oh yes, 100%. And what I mean, so my neighborhood, my subdivision is like 150 homes. We don't have, where I live, we don't have these giant subdivisions like I know exist in some markets and areas where it's thousands of homes. In that case, absolutely, I would. And if you have a listing in a specific area, you know, it probably would make sense to join that group and share that listing in that group and be, you know, and I would tailor the message to the group like, hey, not sure if you saw this, but you know, here's an opportunity for you to pick your neighbor, kind of thing, where you're playing that up. And in fact, I have a listing coming in my neighborhood. I'm glad you mentioned this. I have a listing that I'll be going on market next week with, and I need to do that. So good on you. I got more out of this than what I'm even.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Josh. It's Darlene Summers. I have a question. When you copy the URL and post it to your business page, are you pausing the ad in StreetText? It still works?
So I don't have any seller ads live right this minute.
Even a buyer ad.
I'm so busy. However, it'll work fine if you have ad, like you can do both. Like you can have the ad on and still use that same link 100%. So
you pause it in
No. Well, but what I'm saying is my ads are paused. However, it doesn't need to be. Like it will work. It'll work in either case.
That's my question. Does it still work?
The permalink will work. The permalink will work whether your ad is live or not. The only way it won't work, and I'm not even sure about this, if you delete the ad, it may then delete that permalink. But I don't even know that that's the case. I think that permalink, once it's created, is, I don't know if you can delete it. Oh, it says you can delete post. Don't delete it. Yeah, don't do that.
I just wanted to know if we could pause it. Thank you.
Yeah. It should still work as long as you don't delete it.
Josh,
yes.
I would like to do the property one, but I would like to, and I don't know if this is a question for you or StreetText people, but I would like to create it and send it to like California. So instead of putting in, you know, that area, like where it says drop a pin, have you ever tried to like drop a pin somewhere else?
Oh yeah, you can absolutely do that. You just type in, you know, where it says the city or drop a pin, you just put, you know, pick an ad, Sacramento, California, or, you know, San Francisco, California. Yeah, absolutely.
And then just redo the text and say, you know, like want to invest in Las Vegas or something like that.
Yeah. Want to be a Raiders fan?
Right.
You guys always, you and Marcus always go back and forth.
I know.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, the thing I would say about that is just be careful on what's the word I'm looking for? Like the discrimination stuff, you know, don't get, you can just, yeah, I would just be careful, you know, like don't call out, hey, do you live in San Francisco but want to move to Las Vegas? You know, just say, you know, have you thought about moving to Las Vegas or something like that? I mean, yeah, and none of that is legal.
The price of California? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, knock that stuff off.
Sorry.
Lindy, go and join some local California groups and then say something like, hey, do you miss the Raiders? Right? I mean, you really could. You could be a little bit fun with it.
Right?
Find the people, you know, whatever that connection may be, find those groups and do exactly like Josh is showing. Take your ad that you've created, regardless of where you originally dropped the pin. That's irrelevant at this point because we're not utilizing the, you know, the ad itself. It's more the link. You're putting that link in front of people regardless of the targeting, right? So build your ad that's appropriate for the California market. Go join California groups. Do exactly like he was showing here. Just be, like he was also mentioning, be very careful with your verbiage, not to, you know,
steer. Don't steer.
Right? But you could be fun with it, use your personality, and definitely win some people over. And yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I like the sports. I like the sports reference. The sports reference is great.
Another idea, Wendy, is make your own Raiders fan group.
Oh, there you go.
I won't be joining that.
But like for real, if you can get that to a tipping point, that thing will grow like crazy. And then, you know, people looking for a place where they can come for home games, or, you know, like legit, I don't know. I mean, that's a very sort of side angle way to build a potential base of clientele.
Drop every so often whenever the Raiders have like go and get yourself like not box seats, but you know, go get 4 tickets and then offer it to the group. Say something along the nature of, you know, come and look at homes in our market and see your Raiders while you're in town, kind of.
Oh my gosh, that's
cross promotions and stuff like that.
Good stuff.
All right, I have one other thing that.
Can I ask a quick question, Josh, on that community, please? So you join communities that are non-real estate to put this ad in, because I would think real estate communities would probably kick you out, right?
Correct. That's what I do.
Okay.
All right. I have one other idea that I think I hope you guys enjoy as much in my head as I think you will. This was inspired by a guy by the name of Dean Jackson. If you don't know Dean Jackson, he is like the godfather of real estate marketing, just an amazing dude. And he has forgotten more about marketing than probably all of us in here combined, just like a super, super genius. So one of the things that I have been doing and do to try and play matchmaker, like Wendy has been talking about, is I have my own Google map where I have uploaded, well, I have several different segments uploaded. No, that's not it. There we go. Where I've uploaded several different segments where I can look at my map and see where so I got to zoom in here. So all of these blue houses, I think it's the blue houses. All of these blue houses are StreetText leads. So why is that valuable? Well, you have a client who's looking for a home in blank area, like a zip code, a specific neighborhood, whatever. You can go to your own map and you've got like this, you know, X-ray vision of people that at least were curious to know what their home was worth. And you can reach out to say, hey, I have a client that's looking in your neighborhood. If, you know, who have you heard about, you know, in the area thinking about selling? Or have you heard anyone in the neighborhood talking about selling? Or have you seen anybody, you know, getting their house prepped to sell? And so I have several layers on my map here. The blue, I think, are StreetText. The green are Z buyer seller leads. That's a source that I've dabbled with. The yellow are some postcard marketing that I've done. And then the orangey red is my like top 150 sphere of influence folks. So
awesome.
So, and I am admittedly, embarrassingly not using this as much or as well as I should be, because this is literally like, this is market intel that only you have. And is a way for you to demonstrate incredible value to your buyers. And it's so simple, and it costs a grand total of $0.00. Thank you very much, Google. To do it, you go to Google/mymaps, I think. Yeah, Google/mymaps.com. And I'll do this from scratch for everybody. So I already have a map, but unless you've done this before, you may or may not. I'm going to click create a new map. And I will call this, I'm going to give it a title. We'll call this, how do I give it a title? There we go. I'll call this StreetText value map. And I could put a description, but who cares? And I'm going to go over to StreetText. I'm going to go to contacts. I'm going to, I can select all of them, right, at once.
If you, Josh, even if you just click the export button, which is kind of on the top right there, even if you haven't selected them, it should export them all.
Okay, export to Excel right there. So I've got my leads here in a CSV file. I go back over to my map. I click on this import button. Find my CSV file. And then you can choose the columns that you want. I think you can choose province, StreetText, Canadians. And I could even do date. Yeah, I mean, I'm want just import all of it. Who cares? Continue. And so this is what they're asking me now is, what do we want to? So the little house icon, when you scroll over it, what do you want it to show as like you know, the identifier. So I'm going to choose the address. I don't know why it's doing this. Maybe we'll have to do a round 2 of this. But this is these blue. I did this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was all the StreetText leads I had at that point. I wonder also if what's that?
This is so awesome. I love this.
How did you get it to be different colors, the houses?
Okay, yeah, so that's super easy. Once they're actually in here, if you go to the layer options, no. If you go to this little bucket thing, so see how it's saying all items? So I have 20 items here in this case. If you go to the bucket thing, you can just choose the color. So I could change this to, but it does work, I promise you. And
so what other layers do you have, Josh, in addition to StreetText?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What other layers do you have? Because you have different colored homes.
Oh yeah, so so the yellow are like my sphere of influence, you know, people that I know. No, I'm sorry. The yellow is some direct mail postcard campaigns I had been running last year, which by the way is getting, you know, gets the same people that StreetText gets only for a lot more money. So that's one of the layers. The orangey, the reddish orange, that's the those are my like top 150 sphere of influence. These are the purple layer now. The ones that were green that was purple is some motivated seller leads. In that case, it's Z buyer seller leads. And then the blue are the StreetText home value leads.
Thank you.
You bet. That's all I had content wise, but I'm happy to, I mean, I don't want to hog the rest of this, but certainly if you have any questions. And for those of you wondering or curious, like, I've only been with StreetText for like 8 or 10 weeks, I think. And it would be easier to figure out in my account, but it hasn't been that long. It certainly hasn't been 3 months. In my first week or two, I got an address only. I sent a packet with a unique value proposition that I have. The lady called me. She's like, you sent me this thing. I don't remember what's going on. I said, well, you had filled out your address and we're looking for, you know, a free home valuation. And I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't dropping the ball. And she's like, well, I'm kind of curious about this thing here, but you know, we're gonna list it with Remax. You know, I already talked with them. They're the big name in the market, blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, I totally get it. They're moving into Florida and they're not moving until September. So she's like, we're not listening until May. I'm going to keep your information. And if something changes, I'll let you know. So that was something how it happened. Anyway, I sent her a follow-up. Oh, there was something from it that led me to, you know, a way for me to send her more value, right? Something from the conversation, because I didn't have her phone or email at that point. I only had her address. So somehow or another, I got her phone and her email. Well, I got her phone because she called me, and I got her email because I said, hey, I'd like to send you more information just so you have it, just so you have it. So she called me back the next week. I can't remember why. Then I called her back the next week and I said, hey, I'm just curious. If I had a buyer in my database that like wanted to buy your home and they were good with either doing a lease back until you were ready to move or delayed settlement, like, you know, could we come out and look at the property? And she's like, well, yeah. And she said, well, I have a good idea. Why don't you come out to the property first so we can show you around? And I said, let's do it, right? So I go out, take a tour. Halfway through, Ted, who's an old Navy veteran's like, I like this guy way more than that Remax gal. Like literally while we're sitting at the table talking, he says that to his wife. And I just laugh. I go home and I played matchmaker. I went into KV Core and I pulled up all of the contacts that I have that were looking for that city in their general price range. I send them a text message. Are you still looking for, are you still looking to buy a home in Mechanicsburg? If so, I have an off-market property that might be of interest to you. Let me know. LMK. Had several people respond and interact, and had one that wanted to see it. Similar like demographic to the clients that own this property. So I call Michelle back and I say, hey, I have some clients that would like to come look at it Thursday at 2:00. Can we come out? Yes, absolutely. And then she's like, you put me in a hard spot here because now I have to, I got to call this Remax lady and give her some bad news. And so I just kind of laughed it off and I said, listen, I am happy to call her if you would like me to. I am happy to make that phone call. I'll let her down easy. She said, no. I need to make that call. I said, totally great. If you need any help with any of that, let me know. So we met with I was coming from an appointment and I was late, and these two, the two couples, they had hit it off. They had already taken a tour. They were having a great old time. Those folks might be interested. But in either case, I have, like, if they're not interested, I'm listing it in 2 weeks. And that was one of the first, I don't know, I could look in StreetText, actually. I could tell you, it was like the third address only lead I got. Results not typical, disclaimers abound, whatever. And I have several others in the works. I haven't actually gotten a signed listing contract from any of them yet, but I'm in significant conversations with a number of them. And now, because I'm curious, I'm going to find how many, what number address only lead that was.
Hey guys, this has been awesome, but I wanted to just say what Josh was talking about with the map. I am so excited about that. But, you know, we were sharing earlier about your free permalink, and Google Business is huge. And actually there's another realtor part of eXp, his name's Sean Cochran, and he's made a huge part of his business on Google Maps and Google Business for free. But you can share your permalink on Google Maps. And for every review that you put on Google, you actually get more visibility. So when you go to restaurants and stuff, share from your business page your reviews. And that way, when you're posting things like your StreetText, you're going to get free leads from Google. But I was wondering how you can incorporate this Google My Maps that you just shared and somehow share it so maybe people can see where you have leads from. It might entice people to sell that weren't thinking, if they think you have a buyer pool right there in their area.
Why not just screenshot it so that they don't have a live link? If you know the words, if you give them all the information, they have no reason to ask you. So like me, I'm not the Mac user like Marcus always is. I just use the copy thing off mine. I'll screenshot that and put it in there. That's the teaser, because if they want to know the exact specific areas, and I wouldn't zoom in so much that they can see exactly where it was, just the approximates, and now they have to come to you to get the rest of the info.
That I would agree with Leon 1,000%, only because the actual map shows the address. Like if I zoom in, it's not just the little house. It actually is like, you could literally do the satellite view of their house. So I would do a screenshot or a screen share video where you're showing like, these houses are this source or whatever. These houses are whatever, however you want to frame it. But I wouldn't give them the actual live link. That would be, I think you're messing with fire there.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I think you need to come back, Josh. I'm arranging your schedule now so that you can come back and do something on Google. But you know what, Marcus? I think that the next time we meet, it should be about how to incorporate those free permalinks to your Google business. But it's so powerful because it's free. And the more you post, the more recognition you get and the more visibility you get for free with Google. So I have at least 2 or 3 calls a day from my Google business because I post almost daily on there and I have reviews. I'm a level 5 reviewer. So they give you perks. I get coupons and stuff from restaurants and all kinds of stuff.
2 or 3 a day?
Yeah, I've been doing it. Listen, anyone who knows Sean Cochran from eXp, check him out. He's on TikTok. He's a cowboy eXp realtor who does singing parodies, but his whole business model is about how to get the most for these free leads. He pays for leads, but he does Google Business for free, and he shares how you can make the biggest reach and biggest impact. I've been doing it for about a year now, and I get 2 or 3 phone calls a day.
How do you spell his name? And Kathy's in my organization. Kathy, I'm going to try and get Sean on for our daily huddles.
It's SEAN. And then Cochran, COCHRAN. He's a black cowboy and he is the coolest guy ever, but he will talk to you on the phone. Him and I now communicate maybe once every 2 weeks because he's willing to share always. And I recommend you guys check him out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask all you Google experts a question? If you just joined with have a partner now, is it better to keep yourself as an individual on Google, or should you create a team profile on Google?
Why not do both and turn around and double your exposure?
Okay.
Yeah, as long as, I don't know if you have, yeah, if you have the same address, I don't know if Google is really smart. Like my Google business listing was suspended for a little while and I couldn't even figure out why. And I think it was because I tried to change it to my UPS box address. And I was able to get it turned back on. So I would just be careful.
Use your Regis. So for a business profile for eXp, I now set it up. And when I got the postcard, I called our Regis Center and the lady who answered the phone found the postcard, gave me my verification number. And so now anyone who looks up in that area, they see me as eXp Realty. So
I don't have any Regises near me. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
I feel your pain, Josh. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
We have 8,000 people in my county.
Yeah.
I
8,000 in the whole county. Holy smokes.
8,000 in the
Josh,
whole
how are
county.
you?
Good. What's up, buddy?
It's been a long time, my friend.
I know, brother. Looking good.
Thanks, you too. Thank you for coming out today. I have tried to get my business on Google and I have not gotten my postcard. I submitted it twice. So I'm going to call this cowboy guy and see if he can help me.
That's why I want to have him on my so I do a huddle every Monday through Thursday at 11 Eastern for my group. And I want to have him on because funnily enough, we were talking about that Google business listing as a topic right before I hopped out of that to hop on this.
Nice.
And I know enough to be dangerous on there, but this guy sounds like he's a wizard.
Awesome. Good to see you.
You too, brother.
That's awesome. So I just want to give Josh a big round of applause. Thank you, Josh. You shared some amazing stuff. I think everybody really.
Thanks for having me.
Great turnout today as well, which was awesome. I think, Josh, you're going to have to do a part 2 though, no matter what. I think it's being asked for regardless.
Dude, I'm all in. I'm all in. These fill me up. These fill me up. And Adrian's idea, man, I was taking notes as I was sharing. So that was great.
So I don't